Hi and welcome to today's video. It's Misha Ashling, it's Múinteoir Gaeilge May, and today we're going to be looking at an Aiste on Córas Sláinte from the Ceapadóireacht section of paper 1. Here's a snapshot of the essay available to you on the Studyclix site should you wish to read it as we go on and get into it. Well, here's our cheist. This is not a specific question from a specific paper, but a question on a topic that we are likely to see in the coming years. Now, how the essay is marked generally looks like this. This is what you get in your marking scheme. They ask for between 500 and 600 words. This is said to you on the exam paper, and this is what the examiner is recommended to look for. Now, to choose a relevant style of writing to the title gets you 5 marks. Your tackling of the topic itself gets you 15 marks. Your ability and quality of your Gaeilge get you the other 80 marks. Now, important to note, even though there are 3 aspects to how you are marked, it is recommended that the examiner takes your essay as a whole and marks it as a unit. That's important to know. You're not being marked in teeny sections, but your effort with the question is being marked as a whole. You're looking at about 4 to 5 pages. It's your Cerógs Cuaig Leathanig if you're looking at 600-800 words. For timing, it's recommended go gahan tú 25 nóiméad ag planal. Spend 25 minutes planning, which sounds ludicrous when you compare it to the history paper, the English paper. It sounds insane, but you have that time. So you should write out náhanna you would like to use, angles you would like to look at the question from, dissect the question, really take the time to dig into it, and your essay will be all the better for it. You can spend about 60 minutes writing or a clig ag scríobh. You have a full hour to do it, and that still leaves you 25 nóiméad to look back over all that you've written. So much time to do this that there is no reason to not do it wonderfully. If you break it down like this, you have so much time to plan, to write, and to revise all you have written. Do not be leaving this paper early just because you have the time. Take the opportunity, take every minute you have to make this a top tier essay. Get every mark of it that you can. Now, this student's attempt at the answer looks like this. Tá oscailt láidir agan anseo. We have a lovely strong opening, and it's an opening that you can use for any essay on any topic. Caithimé adháil go dtugann tedal na háiste seo over machnamh dom. The title of the essay made me think. It could be an essay on anything, and it could have made you think. It's a nice phrase, it'll add to your Cumas na Gaeilge, and it's a good start for your essay. Lovely náhanna throughout, also adding to your Cumas na Gaeilge mark. It's parsanta, which is nice to see. It shows the examiner that you've thought about this personally, and this may well be your own opinion, which is great, even if it isn't. And overhook, they've got relevant vocabulary and relevant phrases to the topic. Very important. Yeah, the tedal egadera, putting the title at the end is a little cheesy. Also, it kind of interrupts the flow of where they're going with this. Particularly given that it's a question, it kind of interrupts the flow of the essay. I don't think I would do it. It comes across a bit cheesy. Alt a trí. Again, náhanna is léir don dál. That's lovely. And again, it's parsanta, that I am of the opinion, which is great. A little bit of acra there. I get the fanacht fullingt, but to do it 3 times, it's a lot. Even just to say, bín daoine ar fud na tíre ag fanacht agus ag fullingt is sufficient. I get that that is the situation for a lot of people, but to write it this way, not necessary. It looks like something happened to a computer and it's got jammed and repeated things over and over. Needless, and honestly a bit confusing. And ara, something we need to be very careful of writing essays like this, that will surely come up, is that we have relevant, timely information. Now, waiting lists are still a big problem, but we need to be sure that anything we're writing about is timely to the year in which we are writing it. That way the examiner doesn't think you got notes from 2013 and are writing about nonsense that doesn't exist anymore, or problems that don't exist anymore. Fingers crossed. Either way, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be timely, so we need to be careful of that. Alt cahar agus a cuaig. Again, we have our relevant folklore, all of which adding and adding to our Commas na Gaeilge mark. Then a ceist, lovely, it engages the reader. This includes them in the narrative, which is great, and it'll keep them engaged throughout. Careful to maintain your fadas. If you're missing a fada on something, it very often changes the meaning of the word, and that will take away from your Commas na Gaeilge mark. So be cautious there. But that's something you would catch if you spend 25 minutes reading over your essay, I would hope. Now, Alta Seagus Shock, they've got folklore lodger again. Really great. There's some really strong vocabulary in this essay. Some nice phrases that you can use for multitudinous topics such as Erviovri and Teal. Lovely. And statisticy. This person is using statistics, which is great. And if you're going to do that, you need to also be certain that they are relevant and timely. A small issue with Isha, the person mentions Ish and never mentions it again. Do not bring it up if you're not going to tackle it as a part of the essay. Just don't mention it. If you're just going to focus on obesity, do that. Don't bring up Ish and never mention it again. And again, I have a little exclamation point just so that you remember that your information needs to be of the time you are writing the question. Alta Hooked. We have one ceist resurfacing here, which will help the student to remain focused, as well as the examiner remaining certain that you are on topic. A nice shanukkel in there. Again, they are cheesy, but this is adding to your Commas na Gaeilge mark, so might as well. Muintir na Tira is very nice in a Titil Ginnajuk example, therefore adding to your Commas na Gaeilge. Again, we are always building on that 80 marks. We want them all. Now again, we've got some repetition on the point previous. We're still talking about obesity. Come on, there are so many problems in Córas Sláinte. Unfortunately, we have a huge amount to talk about. Focusing on this is needless. Getting towards the end. Bachor is nice there, adding to your Commas na Gaeilge again. The conclusion here is quite sudden. Still talking about, the student is talking about the Celtic tiger, which is of course dated for us now, but then they suddenly jump to being in a conclusion. The conclusion's only about a sentence long. It's very sudden. It kind of cuts into the flow here. It seems like they ran out of time. You don't want the examiner to feel like you ran out of time, because you have so much time that should not happen to you. We are missing multitudes of fadas, which is not great. We should not be missing this many fadas. I know they are small, but of course they are relevant to the quality of our Irish and often to the meaning of our words. If you revise your answer for that 25 minutes, it's not likely you'll make this mistake, but we can hope. Then it's a little bit unclear, this essay. It seems like this person knows two things about the health system and that's it, and tried to stretch it out for a great many paragraphs. There's a lot to be said about the health system. Be very careful when you are picking a topic to talk about that it's something that you actually know about. And if you are stuck on the day and none of them seem to pique your interest, go with the one you know most about. Do not write something vague about something you kind of half know about if you can avoid it at all. And the best way to avoid that is to have a lot of topics prepared beforehand. Into our focal score. As I said, be sure to pick an appropriate title. You have many options. Be sure you pick the best one for yourself that you know the most about. Planal, and I cannot stress enough how important your planal is. Your planal can make or break your essay. If you take the time to sit there, think through all the nahana you know, all the lovely phrases you can add in, all the shanukkel you can add in, any relevant anything you know about this topic, have it down. Jot out how you want the essay to look. Where do you want to put which point? Have it really neat, very organised, and it will make your life so much easier, I promise. Then your frozy and nahana, so important to add to your Commas na Gaeilge mark throughout. So be sure to learn off a bunch of them that you can use for different topics. That'll help you immensely too. And if you want to see an annotated PDF of this answer, it'll be available to you on the Studyclix site. But until then,